In the last few days, some of you may have seen rumors about a potential release of RuneScape 4 at some point. That's because of this new video by Protox or ProtoXX. With these rumors circulating and the many speculations about what such a RuneScape 4 launch might entail, I thought this would be a good opportunity to look back at how the releases of RuneScape 2 and RuneScape 3 changed the game back in 2004 and 2013 respectively. But before we do that, a quick giveaway. I'm giving away a free copy of my ebook trilogy. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe and let me know in the comments what you would like RuneScape 4's main feature to be. I'll randomly pick a winner and announce it in the community tab on the first day of next month. So, RuneScape 2 was launched in 2004 and it gave us a lot of things. In fact, its launch completely revolutionized almost every aspect of the game, most notably the graphics, but also many of the game mechanisms. Let's start with combat first. The most obvious change is the abolition of the 3-round combat system, which means that players in combat would no longer be forced to stay in combat until they had attacked 3 times before being able to walk away. There's quite a bit to tell about that system, so I'll leave that for another video. Combat in general became more diversified through the introduction of attack styles and attack speeds. Another big combat change was the implementation of the combat triangle in an attempt to rebalance combat, as it used to heavily favor melee, whereas magic and especially ranged were barely used by players. To go along with that, Jagex also introduced Dragonhide to make ranged stronger, and more spells to give magic PvP a boost, such as the Bind and Entangle spells. Speaking of PvP, all those changes obviously had a massive impact on PKing, which was the most popular activity of the game at the time, so just these combat changes alone were a complete game changer for the community in general. Other notable PvP changes include the release of the Dual Arena and the fact that the maximum combat level changed from 123 to 126 by giving more weight to the prayer's skill. As for non-combat, a huge update was the release of the run option. That's right, running was not possible for more than 3 years, so people used to have to walk everywhere or teleport if possible. In addition, the system of bank notes was added to the game. A primitive version of it, called certificates, did exist in RuneScape 1, but it was very limited and didn't even work for many items. That's also something for another video. A next significant update to mention is the release of the first random events to replace the abolished fatigue system, which used to force a player to rest every so often if he or she wanted to continue gaining XP. A full explanation of the fatigue system is beyond the scope of this video, but I'll get back to this another time. As for skilling, the most significant change in terms of content was the release of the rune crafting skill, enabling players to obtain their runes a lot more easily to train magic. Also, skilling animations were added to each skill, as all skilling actions were performed without animations in RuneScape 1. Instead, RuneScape 1 used so-called think bubbles. A final notable change for skilling was that the resource gathering skills could no longer be trained with a full inventory. Previously, any excess resources would automatically be dropped, so that changed as well. There were a lot more changes to the game that happened as part of the launch of RuneScape 2, but that's too many to list in this video. Instead, I have just mentioned the most significant ones, which, as you could see, were many. In that sense, the launch of RuneScape 3 in 2013 was less game-changing because there were no major updates for skilling or combat, but RuneScape 3's launch still did make an impact on the gameplay experience nonetheless. RuneScape 3's main feature, if you remember, was the introduction of the new interface system, allowing us to rearrange the in-game interfaces by dragging them around wherever we want. Other changes that players may have noticed are improved audio with orchestral music and better graphics and camera options. In other words, it was a great update for those who liked to use the best available settings and the best possible screen setup, but overall the launch of RuneScape 3 was a lot less impactful than the launch of RuneScape 2 almost a decade earlier. So that was, in a very condensed nutshell, how the launches of RuneScape 2 and RuneScape 3 changed the game. So what can we expect for RuneScape 4? Some say even better graphics, but if so, that would not be the main feature then. Remember when RuneScape HD was launched in 2008, some people mistakenly believed that that was RuneScape 3 at the time because the game looked so much different, but as it turned out, graphics changes alone are on a game engine level not revolutionary enough to justify calling it the birth of a new game version. But as was the case for both RuneScape 2 and RuneScape 3, graphics changes will definitely play some role. Whatever the case, RuneScape 4's main features will be supported by game engine improvements that will allow other big game changes and updates either right away or in the future. To find out, we'll have to wait and see what Jagex reveals, or what's leaked. So that was all for this video. Thank you for watching. Remember that you can participate in my giveaway. And if you like this video, then a quick thumbs up and subscribing would be very much appreciated. Thank you and see you in my next video.